This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thanks for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Wendy Griffith. Well, we begin this half hour in the Middle East. The U.S. pushing for a ceasefire agreement in Gaza. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held a private meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today. And Netanyahu is reportedly not optimistic about a deal. Julie Stahl has the story from Jerusalem.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is back in the Middle East for the 9th time since the start of the war in Gaza, as ceasefire talks with Hamas seem to be faltering.
This is a decisive moment, probably the best, maybe the last opportunity to get the hostages home, to get a ceasefire, and to put everyone on a better path to enduring peace and security.
Blinken met with Israeli President Isaac Herzog, who pointed out Israel is fighting on multiple fronts, including terrorism, in the last 24 hours. A 38-year-old Israeli civilian security guard, a father of 3, was killed by a Palestinian he worked with in Judea and Samaria, and there was apparently another planned attack.
Last night, we've witnessed a suspected major terror attack in Tel Aviv, which is under investigation with a possible suicide bomber. And this morning, soldiers have been attacked in Yara. Yara is on the border with Lebanon by Hezbollah terrorists with drones.
Hezbollah continues to launch near-daily aerial attacks on northern Israel, with some 55 rockets fired on Saturday alone. And an IDF drone attack in the West Bank city of Jenin killed 2 senior Hamas operatives this weekend. In another incident, top Hamas official Osama Hamdan walked out of a CNN interview when he was asked if Hamas accepts any responsibility for all the Palestinian deaths it's caused by using them as human shields. And on the problems with the ceasefire talks, Hamas is blaming Netanyahu, writing, "We place full responsibility on Netanyahu for the failure of the mediators' efforts and the failure to reach a deal." Netanyahu says Israel is conducting very complex negotiations with a murderous, uninhibited, and recalcitrant terrorist organization.
I would like to emphasize, up until now, Hamas has been completely obstinate. It did not even send a representative to the talks in Doha. Therefore, the pressure needs to be directed at Hamas and Sinwar, not the government of Israel.
If the talks to end the Gaza war fail, it may mean Iran and its proxies would launch major attacks on Israel. The New York Times reporting the Iranian government delayed strikes on Israel to give time for the ceasefire talks to succeed. Israeli forces say they're ready for such attacks.
Israel is not in the best neighborhood. We have been preparing for an attack and we are ready for anything. There are diplomatic attempts to de-escalate the situation, but we are ready for everything and anything on any front.
Israel believes Hezbollah could use failed talks as an excuse to launch rocket barrages at Tel Aviv, the Jewish nation's largest city. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thanks, Julie. Back here at home, with just 77 days to go before Election Day, all eyes are on night 1 of the Democratic National Convention. CBN Washington correspondent Michelle London has a preview of what to expect this week.
The fight for a future in America, words we can expect to hear throughout the convention as the Harris ticket works to define its policies and draw in Gen Z and rural working class voters. Political analysts say this is a pivotal week that could shape their campaign. Coming off of a busy month on the campaign trail, Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate Tim Walz are primed for a week of events on stage of the Democratic National Convention, capping it all off with their nomination. Since President Biden stepped aside, the Harris campaign has re-energized Democratic voters, raising more than $300 million and attracting crowds topping 10,000.
This campaign, our campaign, is not just a fight against Donald Trump. Our campaign, this campaign, is a fight for the future.
It's been a whirlwind campaign. Barely 2 weeks after taking over, Harris picked Walz, the governor of Minnesota, as her choice for vice president.
When we fight,
then launching into a swing state tour where the duo voiced their vision for America's future, with abortion access a top priority.
We will pass a bill to restore reproductive freedom, and I will proudly sign it into law.
And other policies, like strengthening the Affordable Care Act, stricter gun control, and raising the minimum wage. Walz, the longtime high school teacher and football coach, looks to draw in blue-collar voters.
When unions are strong, America's strong.
It all means the race to November is tightening, with the polls revealing battleground states leaning slightly in Harris's favor. While the road to Chicago has been wide open, Democrats will face a bumpy ride at the convention over deep divisions in their party on a crucial issue.
Well, there have been real fractures within the Democratic Party on Israel.
In the primaries, Democrat members of Congress who spoke out against U.S. support for Israel's war against Hamas were defeated. Two highly visible losses, Rep. Cori Bush of Missouri and New York Congressman Jamal Bowman, who belonged to a progressive group known as the Squad. Their opponents, both strong backers of Israel. While the party fights it out inside the convention center, tens of thousands of pro-Palestinian and anti-Israel protesters are expected to gather in Chicago.
We already know that there have been plans for protests in Chicago next week. So it's definitely something that the party is going to be really trying to carefully maneuver.
Politico's Meredith McGraw predicts those loud voices will add pressure for Harris to voice a clear stance this week.
Vice President Harris is really trying to walk a fine line between not abandoning some voters and supporters who are further left, who have been calling for a ceasefire and who have been protesting the Biden administration's policies when it comes to Israel, and also defending an ally of the U.S.
One way the DNC looks to bring unity to the party, support from past leadership. The one thing McGraw says may have been missing at the Republican National Convention.
You didn't see other Republican leadership sharing the stage with Trump. It really was a message that the GOP is Trump's party now.
Former Presidents Barack Obama and Bill Clinton will headline this week's convention as the party rolls out its vision for a Harris presidency. And headlining tonight's lineup, President Biden and Hillary Clinton will address the crowd. Later in the week, Walz will officially accept the vice presidential nomination on Wednesday.
Thank you, Michelle London, reporting for us. Well, parts of the Northeast United States are under feet of underwater from high rains, while Hurricane Ernesto, now hundreds of miles offshore, batters beaches with dangerous rip currents. Dale Hurd has that story.
Nearly a foot of rain that fell in just hours in Connecticut caused flash flooding, mudslides, and possible deaths. The water here was 4 to 5 feet high. Streets and sidewalks were submerged by water moving fast enough to carry away cars.
Cars shut down because it sensed the water, and unfortunately I was in the process of just backing right out of it.
At least 2 people were missing overnight after they were swept away by the rushing waters. Rescuers worked to save dozens of drivers trapped in the flooding. One Good Samaritan could be seen rescuing a man and his dog after his car was trapped by rising floodwaters. The damage coming as Hurricane Ernesto churns out in the Atlantic, still causing chaos on the coast while damaging Bermuda. In North Carolina, the storm surge from Ernesto washed this home right off its foundation. New York City beaches are closed again today because of dangerous rip currents that officials say can claim the lives of even the strongest swimmers. The National Hurricane Center in Miami warns Ernesto could strengthen further as it skirts the Canadian maritime provinces before eventually weakening. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Wow, thanks, Dale. Well, coming up, 1 million women rising up to pray and fast for America. See how a new generation of Esthers is seeking reformation and revival. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch.
Introducing a brand new way to start your morning, the CBN News Quick Start Podcast. Each weekday morning at 7 a.m., get quick highlights of the day's important news. Then an in-depth analysis that goes beyond the headlines. Insights that matter to people of faith. Discover how God is moving around the world and here at home. Find the CBN News Quick Start Podcast on iTunes or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts, because truth matters.
Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. The Book of Esther tells us how God raised up a woman during a time of crisis to save her people, the Jews. Evangelist Lou Engle sees 2024 as another pivotal moment in history, with God calling on women once again. Now he's planning for a major event at the D.C. Mall in October. Take a look.
America is in a time of crisis. The world is in a time of crisis.
Esther was raised up at a time that if there wasn't a shift, they would lose a whole nation.
In 2017, Lou Engle had a powerful dream.
And a woman stands up and she says, and she's teaching the Book of Esther, and she says, and these two words in the Book of Esther actually mean Nazgul. I explode out of the dream instantly knowing what it means, because I watched the third part of the Lord of the Rings, where the Nazgul Witch King is destroying the armies of men and says, no man can kill me. But the king's daughter takes off her helmet, lets her hair down, and says, I am no man. And she pierces the Nazgul. I wake up and I knew there's coming a massive women's Esther movement that will have authority, just like Esther, to take down spiritual powers, ideologies, and they will rise up a righteous women's movement, and I believe they will shift history.
That's why on October 12th, the Jewish Day of Atonement, Engle is calling for an army of women to fast and pray on the National Mall in D.C.
We will take a massive communion service that day and plead the blood over this nation, daring to believe that God will loose America into a new day of mercy.
In addition to women, Engle also wants men who, like Esther's uncle Mordecai, understand the times we're living in.
We believe it is an Esther Mordecai moment, not a division of male and female, but to connect together before the heart of God and believe that God will heal us.
I prayed a crazy prayer. I said, God, put me in the fight. And he took me up on it.
During the pandemic, Jenny Donnelly, a mother of 5 from Oregon, says God also told her to gather 1 million women to pray to turn the nation back to God.
The Holy Spirit does not consult your Instagram account, your Facebook following. I thought, you got the wrong girl.
When she heard about Engle's mandate, she reached out and they teamed up.
I'm so excited about being with Jenny because I believe we are in an Esther moment worldwide. Who would have guessed when we started mobilizing a vision of an Esther movement that October 7th would take place? And a worldwide explosion of anti-Semitism. We're in a worldwide anointing of Esthers who are going to challenge that ideology like she did.
Donnelly sees this as an event for all women, not just the super spiritual.
How can I mobilize the gal that's in the cul-de-sac that's just watching kids, but we need her voice. It's going to be a grassroots movement of men and women that do something.
Engle, known for leading the Call prayer events, believes this October event at the National Mall will be one of the most significant prayer meetings of our lifetime.
Lou, what do you think is going to shift that day when 1 million people meet in Washington on the Mall? What's going to shift in the atmosphere?
Well, I look at Joel chapter 2. Joel chapter 2, when there's no hope for a nation, when there is no remedy, blow the trumpet in Zion, call a fast. It is in those moments that God looses mercy in a day to a nation. There are certain times when God says, you must gather. And if you gather, the Lord will fight for us. We believe we're in that kind of moment.
I believe it too. October 12th on the Mall. I'll be there. Ladies, come. Let's pray. Let's see God turn this nation back around. We can do it if we all gather together. October 12th at the D.C. Mall for 1 million women gathering. Well, still ahead, fertilizing the soil the old-fashioned way. This farmer shares her vision for healthy soil equals healthy communities. Stay with us. You're watching CBN News Watch. Welcome back to CBN News Watch. Better soil equals better health. That's the message from one North Carolina farmer who's taking innovative steps to transform her land and her produce. The practice of regenerative farming can lead to healthier food and a better bottom line. CBN's Brody Carter shows us how.
The Earth's soil. It's not glamorous, but biblically it's where you and I come from. And also our food, both plant and animal. One farmer here in Newton Grove, North Carolina, is making it her priority to study soil health because when it comes to feeding her family, it favors them too.
We can change our health and our communities just by focusing on soil health. You can smell the difference.
Lisa Williams and her son Lance have transformed their 55-acre farm through regenerative farming. Lisa's focus is to regenerate the soil and ecosystems while avoiding conventional pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers. It's taken roughly 4 years to cultivate the land, raising the healthiest cows and chickens to feed her family.
If you have healthy soil, you have healthy grasses. If you have healthy grasses, you have healthy livestock. In our case, it's Hereford cattle.
They fertilize the fields the old-fashioned way, with cow patties.
They have no antibiotics, they're drug-free. We don't spray anything on them. So we can put just about any label we want on these cows.
The family also had a personal reason for choosing this route.
I wanted my family to be healthy, and my husband had a medical condition, and there weren't any answers, and he wasn't getting better.
Larry Williams suffers from an autoimmune disease with no known cure that attacks his muscles. The Williams believed clean eating might help and started the hard work of raising healthy cows.
One, you don't want to lose a spouse, but I really, really believe what I'm doing. I believe it's good for America.
Studies have shown that food grown using regenerative farming practices tends to be more nutritious compared to conventionally farmed food. The healthier the soil, the healthier your food. When it comes to feeding America, farmers and ranchers make up less than 2% of the population. And out of the roughly 2 million farms dotting America's landscape, less than 2% of that land uses regenerative practices. So how is the soil health in America? Dr. Ekrem Ozlu with NC State University says it really depends on where you look.
So the variability in the soil type and climate is huge in North Carolina, sort of from the mountains to coastal plain. Everything can change region by region.
Dr. Ozlu works with farmers in North Carolina to help their fields cultivate healthy soil that can better withstand drought and flooding.
Because soil health or soil in general is like a retirement package. As much as you put there, later you get the benefit.
You know, we have a human health crisis going on, whether we want to admit it or not. And it's related directly, a lot of it, to the food we eat.
North Dakota rancher Gabe Brown is known as a founding father of regenerative farming. An author and consultant, Brown teaches farmers worldwide how to regenerate their dirt and make more money doing it.
I'm literally 10 times more profitable per acre now than I was back then.
Gabe's success and recognition have caught Washington's attention, leading to an invitation to testify before Congress about regenerative farming. Brown tells CBN News that science finds healthy soils produce food with more than 60% higher vitamins, fatty acids, and nutrients.
You've eaten a tomato out of a garden. You know how good that is, and I'm assuming you like tomatoes. Well, then go buy one and look what you get in a restaurant or a store. Look, that isn't even the same thing.
There can be challenges, however, when switching to regenerative practices. For example, it can take up to 5 years to see a return on the investment in terms of the soil's health or profit.
But once they realize what we are proposing here is actually not a new thing, we are just regenerating what we used to do in a way which could be an alternative to today's agricultural practices and still providing them the same benefits, but also making them more sustainable.
For Lisa and others, this is more than just better soil. This method can improve people's health, communities, and economic impact.
It's a cycle. For every one farmer it creates, every one job in production agriculture creates 3 to 4 off-the-farm jobs.
Given that America imports roughly 15% of our food, Lisa sees this as a national security component.
We can't constantly rely on other countries to feed us.
Today, Lisa is also spreading the wealth by teaching others what she's learned. As a board member on the North Carolina Soil Health Coalition, she's using a $75,000 grant to educate state farmers about soil health.
God created everything. He created the insects, he created the plants. He worked for 6 days, and on the 7th day, he rested. And that's what they're asking you to do in regenerative agriculture. So I just want to be good stewards of what God's given me.
Reporting in North Carolina, Brody Carter, CBN News.
Great story. Thanks, Brody. Coming up, it's a daring adventure for this 91-year-old. We will have the details. Stay tuned. It's all smiles in the sky for one 91-year-old. George Ebert celebrated his birthday by skydiving with a dozen family members, and it wasn't his first time for this adventure. The Navy veteran skydived for the very first time last year when he turned 90, saying it was on his bucket list. He loved it so much, he returned to jump again to celebrate his 91st. George is all smiles as he prepares to jump with the same instructor as last year and says he plans to return every year. Good for him. Go, George. Happy 91st. Look at that. Wow. I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good plane, but I'm glad George did. He's an inspiration. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel anytime. We're online with cbnnews.com. Also, let us know what you think about the stories you've seen today. Email us at newswatch@cbn.com or talk to us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. I'm Wendy G, CBN on Twitter. We hope you'll join us next time. Have a great day. God bless.